Friends, I'm sorry there was some disruption and it was offline. I'm sorry if you are still there. There were some questions, very interesting questions were raised, and I can quickly answer them if you are not logged off. Uh, Particularly, there is a question by Piyush Arhat, who says that, dear sir, Dr. Ambedkar's first demand for was not affirmative action, but separate settlements, separate electorates, and land redistribution, which would give the depressed classes real freedom. Affirmative action has been made ineffective because of privatization and low spending in education. Well, what you say is true, but this was early part of Dr. Ambedkar's movement. Dr. Ambedkar never talked about, only in the early 20s, in one of his speeches, he talked about separate settlements. And when he met for Mahatma Gandhi for the first time, he said that Mahatma Ji, Mr. Gandhi, I do not have motherland. We do not have motherland. So that was the only reference to the separate settlements. But after that, he never talked about it. As far as the separate electorates are concerned, there was a big debate between Dr. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi at the Roundtable Conference. And then when the judgment went in favor of Dr. Ambedkar in terms of separate electorates, Mahatma Gandhi went on fast until death. And finally, there was a lot of pressure put on Dr. Ambedkar to withdraw his demand for separate electorates, and Pune Pact was signed in 1932, under which separate electorates demand was withdrawn by Dr. Ambedkar, and what was settled was joint electorates with reservation for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. So there goes the separate electorates issue. And land redistribution was something that was talked about. There were some efforts after independence, but no serious effort have taken place in our country. And that is where the situation is. You are also saying that affirmative action has been made ineffective because of privatization. The only way out there is to apply the affirmative action in the private sector as well. As I was mentioning earlier, how private is really private sector? Do they not take the advantage of the taxes, tax benefits? Do they not take advantage of lower cost of land? If the private sector is taking those advantages from the government, they should also accept their social responsibility and accept the reservation or affirmative action in the private sector as well. But as you are aware, that is a very contentious issue on which heated debate takes place off and on. Then there is a question by Prasad Patil. Swapnil, he's saying, sir, दलितांचा वापर राजकारणासाठी केला जातो असं वाटतंय का? बाबासाहेबांची चळवळ नक्षलवाद्यांच्या हातात जात आहे असं आढळून येत आहे, याबद्दल आपलं मत काय? I'll translate the question. Very important question. Are Dalits being used for political purposes? And second, is the Ambedkar movement going in the hands of Naxalites? What is your opinion? That is the question. Yes, I think Dalits are being used for political purposes. They were always used, but what has happened is that now all political parties are claiming the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar for the purpose of their political gains. And in democracy, of course, that is understandable. Now, whether the Ambedkarite movement is going in the hands of Naxalites, I don't have any information about that. But yes, there has been some allegations made at the official level that the Ambedkarite movement is going in the hands of Naxalites in some part of our country. But I do not have adequate information about it, so I shall refrain from commenting on that. There is a question by Swapnil Surwade. Why don't we have a party which Dr. Ambedkar once dreamt of? Dr. Ambedkar dreamt of Republican Party of India. The first political party that Dr. Ambedkar established was Independent Labour Party in 1936. In 1942, he had Scheduled Caste Federation as a political party. And then toward the end of his life, he prepared the draft of the Republican Party of India, much broader based than the Independent Labour Party. The Scheduled Caste Federation was much broader based than Independent Labour Party, and Republican Party was supposed to be even broader based. As a social democrat, he wanted to float the Republican Party, and that he prepared the outline of that party, and that party did come into being after his Mahaparinirvan. However, today there are many factions of the Republican Party, and I think the original spirit under which Dr. Ambedkar envisioned a broad-based political party is now divided into so many factions, defying the very spirit in which Dr. Ambedkar was talking about unifying the society in a broad-based manner. There is a question by Swapnil Surwade. Don't you think present government working as they are following Manusmriti? I have no comment on that, whether they are following Manusmriti, because Manusmriti is all right for argument, but Manusmriti is not something which is relevant in any which way. And Dr. Ambedkar burned Manusmriti way back in 1927. But there is this allegation being made against the government. It is there in our mindset and not in reality, or so I believe, but you may have better information than I do. Prasad Patil and Nikhil Walimbe, they have just said hello without asking any question. Vivek Kokre is saying, but the leader who are using the name of Dr. Ambedkar, they are creating social issue. Misuse of Dr. Ambedkar, it gives wrong direction to Dalit youth. Well, everybody is making use of the name of Dr. Ambedkar. Many Dalit leaders of all persuasions, they have opened their own shops in the name of Dr. Ambedkar. It is really regrettable, and more divided than we are, the political unified force to assert its existence and work for its rights in the democratic system is missing right now. But whenever there is a major crisis, they all become one. And whenever they have become one, the effect has been very positive. And that is something which we should be looking forward to. I do not want to go into issues of unification of various factions. There are far too many problems. Earlier, we used to think that the old timers had too many divisions, and the people who have taken over, the much younger people who have taken over in this generation, they also have similar problems. In fact, even more problems of factionalism. And I think it is futile to think in terms of putting all of them together. But on common issues, they can come together. Common issues affecting all the they can and should be coming together. That's my feeling. Vinay Kate is asking, do you think then that all castes shall have equal reservation on the basis of financial ground rather than caste, because many people don't get the chance even if they are good in educational capacity just due to poor financial condition. There are reservations for those who are financially poor, but I do not think that the basis of reservation should be purely on the economic grounds. I completely disagree with that statement, because the basic unit in our country is the caste. It is not the class, economic class, that is the basic unit. And keeping that, even people who are poor and in the lower economic strata consider themselves higher in the social hierarchy if they belong to higher caste. And there can be many examples given. So the basic entity here is really the caste and not the class. And therefore, I am completely opposed. I'm not against reservation for those who are financially poor. What I am saying is that cannot be the basis of the entire reservation system. What I am saying is that the basis of reservation would have to be the caste as was envisioned in the Constitution. In addition, special provision can be made for reservations of those who are extremely poor. That is understandable and that is acceptable to me. Shashank Gaikawad said, "Sir, please give a good message for the youth so that we can progress in a good way." Well, what message that I can give? I can only give you message that Dr. Ambedkar has given to the youth. Not only educate, organize, and agitate, but he has also said that keep trying, do your best, and don't lose hope, and the future is going to be yours. That was the ultimate message that Dr. Ambedkar gave. I'm nobody like Ambedkar to give you any message, but I would faithfully convey to you the message to the youth that was given by Mahamanav Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. I think we will stop at this point, and I thank all of you for asking very good questions. Sometimes the questions went out of the purview of the subject, but I understand and I have tried to answer them to the best of my capacity. I thank you again and see you soon with another subject, another time in the same Facebook video blog. Thank you. Thank you very much.